Sitting here on the runway here in Atoka, fixing to take off, and for the first time I'm fixing to go above and see Atoka and see our community from a different perspective that I've never seen. One of the things we have to do in life is constantly put ourselves in situations to see our own life, to see our family, to see our problems, to see our community and those around us in a perspective that we've never seen. So here we go, we're fixing to take off. You guys enjoy the ride.
This is absolutely amazing to see our community from this perspective and know that every house represents a family or a person or an individual that needs to be reached by our church and by us as Christians. We have a responsibility to reach out and change, to see our community and know that they need Christ.
I turned my back on God for about a year, and it was empty. It was full of pain. I didn't feel complete. I felt like part of me was missing.
My teenage years, I became a very rebellious teenager. I did things that brought shame to my mom and to my family.
I try to fill it in with other stuff, like going out and partying and doing things that a normal teenager normally doesn't do.
Whenever I was 11 years old, I had a cousin that was 7, and my grandpa had just retired, and he had bought a big pontoon boat, and he was taking us out to the lake to go fishing and swimming, and we was on one side of the boat swimming with our life jackets on, and he was fishing off the other side. We looked up there, and he had fell off the boat, and we just thought he jumped in the waters. We went swimming back to the boat and got onto the other side, and he kicked his shoes off and was struggling in the water, and I took my life jacket off and threw it to him, and he took off swimming to it and went under and never come back up. It's tough not knowing what to do. I drove the boat back to the shore and told my cousin to stay there, and I just took off running.
I'd put in between 10 and 12 hours a day at work and go home and have the hen pecking done, and I would dive right into my glass with the ice in it. Sometimes I would never get out of the chair until 2 o'clock, not knowing what time I fell asleep.
I can now look back and see the hand of God, of how He carried me through. It wasn't until my late 20s that I really realized what I needed to do. And I said, God, I know what I've done. If I didn't know what I was doing at the age of 9, now I ask you to come into my life and to change my life and to make me a new person and a new creation.
Lynette and I I'm asking her a lot of questions about the Bible, about God, Jesus, and all that sort of thing. And she's, bless her soul, she's being so patient with me. And she said, you just keep reading. I said, you're going to find a lot of answers in there.
I never prayed to God, and I just stopped and I prayed to God. I just asked Him to help me. There was someone that had stopped and was just sitting by the lake, and they heard me screaming. I took off running to him.
He had a plan. I realize that now. After a lot of the things that have happened in my life, I look back and I can seriously say that, yeah, those were all God things. Every single one of them. Right? He was dealing with that.
But the one person when I got older that I really, truly admire and helped me so much was Loretta Cargill. And I would go to her and she would tell me, she would say, you just ask the Lord. You just set your mind on the Lord. And no matter what people say, Judy, God will show you what to do. And don't worry, because He's got the situation in His hand.
Inside my heart, I can feel my mom. And if she knew what I was doing at that point, I could see her face, how she felt, and it would feel on me, and I would stop doing it.
Everybody that had something to say to me, everyone was focused on God. God just really comforted me and put me at peace with everything that was going on. I knew that the Lord was for real then. And a couple months later, I got baptized and saved. Devoted my life to God. Tried living His divine design.
So many times I would go to her. I remember one night I went and I was just crying and distraught because I didn't know what to do. And she gave me the advice of she said, God showed you what you do, and you do that.
It's different because I've been to a church before with musicians, singers, with words on screens and stuff like that, with people that came over and shook my hand and say, hi, welcome, we can see you're new. She said, you know how we were supposed to have a new home? I said, yeah. She said, it wasn't a house we were looking for. It was a church we were looking for.
I know this, that without Him I can do nothing. Without Him, my life means nothing. But through the struggles and through the trials, I have learned that God will never leave you and He will never forsake you, that His promises are real, and what you need to do is get the promises of Him in your heart and stand on those promises no matter what you see, no matter what you feel, or no matter what you hear, because the promises of God are forever.
Some of the worst things I've ever seen, that all they needed to do was say, God, I don't want this anymore. I just give it to Him, and that's it. God will fix it. And He's fixed a lot of things in my life.
You overcame. You overcame.
I was afraid and insecure, but God helped me overcome.
I was complacent, but God helped me overcome.
I was empty and wanting purpose, but God helped me overcome.
I was a follower, but God helped me overcome.
I was dependent on myself, but God helped me overcome.
I was trying to identify myself through the ways of the world, but God helped me overcome that.
I was self-centered, but God helped me overcome.
I was anxious and overwhelmed.
I was angry and confused.
I had a fear of failure.
I was lustful.
I was average in the form. I had no one that I could trust.
I wasn't bold in my walk with Christ, but God helped me overcome.
But God helped me overcome.
I was insecure, but God helped me to overcome. But God helped me overcome.
But God helped me overcome.
I was fearful of God's call in my life, but He helped me overcome.
I was depressed.
I was a shy little girl who was afraid to talk about my feelings.